So what's the big deal with Montessori Peaks Academy and Jefferson County Public Schools? To begin, it's important to learn a little bit about how does a charter school operate. A charter school is a public school just like other public schools, except for it usually has a little bit of a different instructional methodology. This means that when a charter school is created, we are delegating authority and tax dollars to another public school. To make this work, what we've done is we've taken what is a local public body, like a Board of Education in a district, and moved that authority and money and financing down to a lower level, which is the Charter School Board of Directors. Each charter school has a Board of Directors, and they supervise one employee. In the case of Montessori Peaks Academy, its principal, Char Weaver. The local charter board is actually a local public body, and these are government officials. This is important, so keep this in mind. The entire rest of the charter school reports to that one person. In direct defiance of common business practice, and Principal Weaver began hiring her direct supervisors to work for her at the school. That's right. This means that she hired 2 board of directors and another one's spouse to work for her directly at the school. The common sense conflicts of interest that this introduces when you have a supervisor who is now your employee and your employee who is now your supervisor is plain for everyone to see. You might even be asking yourself, shouldn't this be illegal? Well, in fact, it is. It violates a whole bunch of Colorado Revised statutes to which Montessori Peaks Academy has no waiver. It violates Jefferson County policies to which Montessori Peaks has no waivers. But surely there's oversight of charter schools. Well, it turns out Charter School Achievement Director Tim Matlick had actually found out about this as far back as 2014, but didn't report it to anyone. Even during the charter school renewal process, Mr. Matlick never informed the Board of Education that Montessori Peaks Academy had broken the law. This bizarre situation was allowed to continue until private citizens found out about it and reported this to Jeffco. After officially being notified of violations of law by Montessori Peaks Academy Board of Directors, Charter School Achievement Director Tim Matlick failed to report and investigate these conflicts of interest as far back as November of 2014. After receiving an official complaint regarding violations of policies and law, Charter School Achievement Director Tim Matlick, Chief Effectiveness Officer Terry Elliott, Chief Legal Counsel Craig Hess, and Superintendent Dan McMenemy failed to investigate and report the violations to the Board of Education in April of 2015, even though Montessori Peaks Academy was up for a renewal. Instead of investigating an official complaint, Mr. Matlick, Mr. Elliott, Mr. Hess, and Mr. McMenemy required private citizens to investigate the violations of policy and legal matters, stating that a complaint would only be accepted in the form of a single document that described each concern and violation, the specific portion of Colorado Revised State Statutes, policy, bylaw, and contract related to each concern, and why and how exactly it was violated. Just imagine if the police or a doctor required the same level of information as opposed to just accepting a report of something that was going wrong. In effect, they were requiring private citizens to become lawyers, investigators, and experts on civil, nonprofit, and education law before accepting a complaint. Upon receiving the inappropriately requested complaint, Mr. Matlick, Mr. Elliott, Mr. Hess, and Mr. McMenemy then refused to accept new information related to additional violations of policy and law committed by Montessori Peaks Academy after the submission was accepted. These officials failed to investigate this matter in a timely manner. As the months have dragged on, it is clear that these individuals have failed to investigate or address these matters. Even more concerning, when an official investigation was requested looking into how these matters have been mishandled, Jeffco's Chief Legal Counsel requested that the investigation be done by an internal investigator who reports directly to him. When challenged due to obvious conflicts of interest, Chief Legal Counsel recommended that they hire an outside investigator. Unfortunately, this appears to be just a smokescreen, as this investigator will be producing a report that gets turned into, you guessed it, the Chief Legal Counsel, who reports to the Superintendent Dan McMenemy. It's a shame that conflicts of interest would be investigated using tactics that employ conflicts of interest.